Hello again, Taylor County. I'm Alex Renham. I'm here with Austin Upton, running for Board of Education. Austin, thanks for coming on the program.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Glad to be here.
Hey, great. Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in Taylor County since 1969. I started teaching here out at what was then Flemington Overflow at the Simpson School, the old Simpson School. And I was there for 2 years. Then I moved to the middle school, and after that went over to the high school. So there's 33 years I've been in Taylor County teaching.
Okay. I think everyone has in their own mind what a member of the board does. But can you give us an idea of your perspective of what the duty of a board member is in Taylor County?
Well, the duty, responsibility, however you want to put that, is to see to it that the kids are safe and get the best quality education they can get.
Okay, and you just talked a little bit about your history, and so this might lead to this question, but can you provide an example, an experience, a job, a role, a challenge, something in your life that you feel has prepared you to be an effective leader on the Board of Education for Taylor County?
Well, the 33 years in education and with the teaching responsibilities, coaching responsibilities, athletic director responsibilities, you come up with something that is problematic maybe every day, just little things, but take care of those little things. The big things usually just work out for themselves.
Okay. And so if you're reelected, what would be your number one priority coming into this next term, if you will?
Still to get the shooter in school possibilities, those scenarios figured out for every school. We've worked on the Anna Jarvis. We had the practice one up there. We've got them scheduled to come up. No definite dates yet, but still schedule all those to see how we can best protect the kids and the school personnel, teachers, service personnel, everybody involved in a school.
Yeah, it's something on everybody's mind, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Furthering that forward, so let's continue the fact you're reelected. When you finally are finished, you say your time is served on the board, you're done. What would you like for your legacy to be, as people to remember you as a board member?
Well, not me necessarily, but there's 5 people on the Board of Education, and it takes all 5 of them to get anything accomplished. I know going into the Board of Education, or sitting on it, everybody elected has things they want to do or they think needs to be done to correct situations. Then you get there and you find out, hey, there are rules, policies, laws that have you handcuffed in a lot of things. You just can't do them. But you keep trying to work at it to just push that limit up to where you can get something done, but yet not violate any of these regulations on you.
Yeah, it makes sense. You say you've been in the county for many years. Well, when you look at our county, what's our biggest challenge around from an education perspective? What is our biggest challenge here in Taylor County?
Well, finances.
Okay.
That's everywhere, though. But the county was, I forget how many years ago, but it was pretty close to being taken over by the state because of the financial situation, and not having enough money maybe to meet the payrolls and all that. But now it's gotten back onto real solid footing. We have an excess. We're looking a lot better than a whole bunch of counties in this state. Everything is running smooth, and that's thanks to the superintendents we've had and the treasurers who question every penny you want to spend.
That's what you want to have a treasurer.
That's what we want.
Hey, you touched on school violence, and we're going to cover that in a minute, but another thing that's, I think, on everybody's minds at every level of leadership within county, city, state, national, is the opioid epidemic. And obviously, the impact of that in our school system is not to be lost. What are you planning to do, or is the board doing, or you think can be done at the level of our education system in the county to help either prevent or alleviate the results of this addiction epidemic? Do you have any perspective on that?
The best thing I can do is just give you the old common answer you get from everybody, is that education is done in the school system about it. It's done, has been going on since you were in school, and before that, people who were in school that don't do drugs, don't do this. But It hasn't worked. So there needs to be another road followed to see if we can get these students to understand this is not good. You don't want that brief high to affect the rest of your life, and that is what happens. You cannot do this. You should not do it. Money is thrown after it to prevent you from doing it. Again, that hasn't worked. The amount of money put in. The only people that can help do this are you and your parents. That's where education begins anyway, is in the home, and that's where we are lacking, I do believe.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not a solution anybody, or not a problem anybody has an answer to just yet, but I ask everybody I talk to, see if they have. Maybe somebody's walking around with it. Hey, so as you know, we polled the citizens of Taylor County for questions that they wanted me to ask of the candidates, and certainly the Board of Education was not short on the list of questions asked. And you already touched on this a bit, so let's just jump right into the school safety issue.
Okay.
And I think you were at an event, I was at an event the other day down the road, at a candidate event, where one of the students, young student, freshman coming in, was asked, do you feel safe at school? And his answer was, sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think, the entire room dropped a little bit. And I know obviously security is always a pursuit, but how can we as a school system get to where and I don't think it's an isolated thing. I think if you ask a lot of students, they might say that. How can we get to where their answer can be, school is a safe place for me to go?
Well, that's a good one. When these students over at the high school look, do you feel safe? Well, every time there's a code red, which is the highest level, it might be announced because somebody made a phone call threatening another student or something. It's not always that there's going to be somebody in the building at that time with the dangers of an assault. But so safety or feeling safe, no, I don't know when that'll happen. You take these schools that have the metal detectors and more than one police resource officer in the building, and things happen there. That's where the shootings have occurred. So should these students here in this small town feel safer, I think, but still it can happen anywhere. A small school, a large school, it doesn't matter. And the feeling safe, I don't know when that'll ever happen. And if you did feel safe, maybe you wouldn't be as alert to what your surroundings are, what's going on in them. So always feeling safe, I don't think that'll happen.
Fair perspective. And, of course, national media doesn't help in anything really anymore, basically. That's another challenge. One of the things, speaking of media, it was just, you couldn't miss it. I mean, if you were around town, and obviously you could miss it in your work, but is the work stoppage, the recent work stoppage that happened last month. And, at this point, as I've said earlier, there's everybody's claiming a victory, which is fine, and that's great. And teachers have and all public personnel, school personnel, and as well as state workers have all received an additional increase in pay. There's a task force focused on PEIA. But the question, I think, from a lot of our folks, and the theme that I kept hearing is, okay, well, that's great, and that needed done. I think for the most part, I think people felt that way. And obviously, everybody has their own opinions. But what's next? How do we get to where we are in terms of our peers? How do we improve our education system here in Taylor County so that we are leading, as we're leading maybe in some cases around how we're handling our finances? How do we get there?
I'd say retaining the teachers that are the upper echelon of teaching and keeping them here. And you do that by, the first step was taken, an increase in salary, a program to look at the benefits that they receive. Can this be kept up? What is going to happen with this task force, as you mentioned? Hopefully good things. The health insurance is, upmost, more so than salary for a lot of people. I know people that have been laid off, they get their severance pay, but no insurance. So it doesn't help without the insurance.
Yeah, makes sense. One of the other themes that's coming out, and you see it nationally now, and certainly in statewide, we've been beating the drum for a bit, is workforce readiness. So coming out of high school and either going to a technical school or some kind of trade school, as opposed to, and this isn't downgrading the idea of going to college, because that certainly has its place as well, but there is or a four-year university, but there is a push at least we see at some levels saying, hey, we need people who are ready coming out, and our local citizens kind of are feeling the same. What are we doing, or what do you plan to do in Taylor County so that we have more workforce ready folks that maybe wouldn't necessarily want to follow down the 4-year college avenue?
Well, what we're trying to do is get more people interested in going to the United Technical Center, which we are 1/3 member over there. People seem to have that still negative attitude about, well, you can't go to college, so let's just send you over here where we can teach you to sweep a floor or cook or something along that matter, and that isn't what's happening at all, because over there, I know they have the 3D or what am I trying to say? The imaging where they make things.
Oh, okay, 3D printing?
Yeah. And they have the engineering, the beauty school, which is a tremendous thing. They have the law enforcement over there with the criminal justice program. I mean, they have the blood splatter on walls. You can go in and they teach you how to determine what was used, weapons, everything over there. Then they have the workforce too. In those classes, in order to get a certificate over there on certain of the classes, you have to pass a drug test, okay? You have to, it's mandatory. And there needs to be more of that done, because you have these companies that come and speak to us at the high school, speak to the people at the technical centers. They want students that can come right after graduation, right into their workforce, and be drug free. If you can't pass the drug test, they'll tell you, don't waste your time. If you fail the drug test, we don't want you. First off, you have to prove to us that you can get along in life without drugs, because we lose too much money. We have found in the past, we've tried to hire people that give them a second chance, and it has not worked. It's led to injury or poor production on their part.
Interesting. Yeah, you hear the narrative that there's no jobs around here, but when you look at statistics of what companies are looking for, they can't find the workforce, and
right.
and people see that. I mean, I think people are starting to come awake to that. We have a lot of opportunities we're not taking advantage of.
There are jobs available. Just finding the right person for those jobs.
Yep. One of the other themes that was out there is the idea, and this is a two-way street, and so we try to be really fair in terms of clear and transparent communication of what's happening at the board. But again, people have to be engaged. They have to want to understand and try to engage the board as well. But from your perspective, you can't control that, but you can control or be a part of, 1/5 of a body that can help be more transparent or more communicative or engaging with the community. What are your plans around that, or how do you feel, what's your perspective on how engaged you are today in the community?
Well, the community is more than welcome to come to board meetings. We say it's open. Just come and sit, if nothing else. You don't have to come and speak. If you want to, you're welcome to. We just ask that you get there 15 minutes early and sign up so we know who's speaking, and there's a lot of time for folks. Again, we have, ever since I've been on the board, please come, When the people, for some reason, I don't know why they don't come, unless it's taking time away from their home. I can understand their home life. And what can we do? I don't know. We hold meetings at the different schools in the county, trying to get those people in that community to come to the meetings, and we might pick up 2 or 3 here and there, but still, to get people to come, to get them involved. We have task forces with the community, representatives from the public that are in the schools act as advocates for the students, and that's the primary purpose there. And just to get more people involved in it, we try.
It's a tough thing all around. As is customary on this program, we give you the last word. What is it you want to tell the people of Taylor County?
Well, I've been on the board for the last 5 years, actually. I was appointed to fill a position of a resignation on the board, which was due to health of that individual. And I would still like to serve. I think the things we've been doing and are doing are the best things for Taylor County. The board is in the best position it has been in since I've been on it, and the things we're doing we need to continue to do. We are financially sound right now. We are in the growth situation out at West Preston, building on 3 new classrooms due to the population growth out in that area. And we have just recently redid the middle school air conditioning and heating units. And we've done this with obtaining the SBA money from the state, saving as much of our local monies as possible for other things, emergencies that could come up. And we just want to, or I just want to continue making this the best educational situation that is possible in this county. Thank you.
Great. Austin Upton, Board of Education, thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Good
Glad
luck.
to be here.